In this edition of the Low Carb Paleo Show, we talk to Shannon Drake, who is the beauty and brains behind the Dirt range of paleo-friendly personal care and beauty products. She reveals to us what's in those products that makes them so good, so safe and so healthy. So let's join Shannon and Alain in the studio now and find out her story.
Good morning, Shannon, and welcome to the Low Carb Paleo Show.
Good morning.
You and I and Joe met at the Paleo FX 2014 at Austin, and I'm the one that came in and stole one orange from you, and then you managed to get me to taste your product. So I tasted it on the spot, and I loved it, and I came back the next day with a friend of mine and convinced her to buy some of your products. Can you give us a little background about you and your company?
Yeah, sure. So a little background about me. I've been paleo on and off for about 8 years now. I originally found out about it from a college professor who was this kind of wild and crazy, dreadlocked cultural anthropologist. He really made an impact on me. It was only a 2-week accelerated course, but he introduced us, to all the different skulls, the hominids, and the paleo diet. It's like, oh, what is this crazy diet? It sounds like it kind of makes sense. So I started it back in college, and I was kind of a little lackadaisical about it, but then for the past 2 years, I've been really into it and into the lifestyle. And after eating really healthy and really clean for probably about a year, I realized, I like to read the back of packaging while I'm brushing my teeth or doing anything kind of brainless. And I flipped over my toothpaste tube, which was, a healthy mainstream brand. And I started reading it and I was like, this is full of junk. How am I putting this in my body twice a day, but I'm not eating preservatives? Like, I'm still swallowing this toothpaste. I need to find an alternative. So I basically started doing a ton of research into different ways to care for your teeth and how your teeth actually function in your system and with nutrition, and mixed up my first batch of the Dirt tooth powder, which did not taste good, but it worked. And then I was like, well, it works, but I don't want to use it, so I need to work on the flavor. And about 30 or 40 batches later, I came up with a current formulation that works really well and also tastes good. So then we had a winner.
Excellent.
So that was kind of the very beginning of the company and my path down this route.
I can vouch for that. It tastes great.
Thank you.
Can we make patty cakes or mud pies?
Yeah, you actually can. A lot of cultures eat the bentonite clay for cleansing and for detox, and it actually helps if you have like parasitic infections. So you could actually make mud cakes and eat it if you wanted to. I don't personally, but I know people who do.
That was actually one of my questions. If once you're done brushing your teeth, can you actually swallow it, or it's better to just spit it out?
Technically, you can swallow it. There's nothing, there's no crazy weird chemicals in it like fluoride or anything like that. The only reason I wouldn't swallow it personally is I've just brushed all the tartar and plaque and bacteria off of my teeth, and I don't want to swallow that. I would rather spit that out. Sometimes I'll take a little bit of the dirt and I'll swish it, like almost like a mouthwash alternative, just to freshen my breath. And sometimes I'll swallow that because I haven't dislodged any gunk off of my teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Tartar is calcium, so calcium is good for your bones.
Yeah, calcium is good for your bones.
So why don't you tell us about your line of dirty products then?
Yeah, so right now we have the tooth powder in 2 sizes. We have Dirty Balm, which is our premium lip treatment, which I really love. It was one of the first products I ever made because I got a really horrible sunburn years and years ago while I was camping, and it really messed up my lips, and they would crack and bleed for years. And I used to work in my past life at a company that owned a large beauty line, and I tried pretty much every product they sold, everything from like the quote-unquote natural lip treatments to the super chemical-filled like wonder drug treatments, and they all made my lips feel better while they were on my lips, but as soon as it wore off, it was back to square one. And I just thought to myself, like, I have to be able to fix this. Like, there's no way that one sunburn has ruined my face for all of time.
Right.
So I thought to myself, like, okay, all these companies have all these like amazing scientists behind them, but like, what is the one thing that they haven't thought of that with my skill set I could think of that they didn't look to? And I thought, well, what about cultural anthropology? Like, paleo diet has done a lot of good for my insides. Like, what about my outsides? What do all these traditional cultures use to heal their skin when they have problems? Because they obviously cut themselves and get sunburns too. I basically looked at traditional beauty cultures. It's what fascinates me the most about cultural anthropology. It's kind of this history of taking care of ourselves. And we all know about cocoa butter. We all know about coconut oil. But I realized that all of the natural products I had in my little arsenal at home, none of them had ghee in them. And I knew that ghee was a big beauty secret in India for thousands of years, and I drank it in my bulletproof coffee every morning. Right. So I thought to myself, like, well, it doesn't go bad, so I can put it in my lip balm. Let's try it out. It'll be like you get the magical coconut oil ghee effect that you do in bulletproof coffee, right? So I took my recipe, I added a little ghee to it, and it worked. And I used it for a month or two, and it kept working. And then I gave it to a girlfriend who has eczema, was like, hey, can you try this out? Like, you have skin issues. I'm not certain if it's just working for me or if it actually works. And about 2 weeks later, I get a frantic text message. I lost your lip balm. I'm freaking out. My face feels amazing. I've been using it all over my face for 2 weeks. Like, I need more. And I was like, oh, well, maybe it actually does work. So I gave it to a couple more girlfriends, kind of got the same frantic text message. I don't know if my girlfriends just have holes in their purses, but they all lost it after 2 weeks. And after about girlfriend number 4, I thought to myself, maybe I should sell this. And that was the first product, the Dirty Balm. And so I from then on, I just kind of, whatever issue I ran into in my personal life, I applied that same thinking, like, what in the historical lexicon of beauty treatments can I use in my products and, fashioned in a way that's convenient for a modern lifestyle.
There's nothing new under the sun, and so if cultures have done it for millenniums, they must, from experience, they must have figured out that what works, what doesn't work. So instead of using tons of chemicals and stuff that potentially could poison us, because of course everything goes through the skin and is absorbed. Besides the ghee, do you have any fragrance or anything else you added to that particular balm?
Yeah, well, I only add essential oils to my products, and my number one goal for my essential oils is that they function and they work for whatever the goal of the product is. And then if it happens to smell good or taste good, like, that's a bonus. So right. The lip balm smells really great, but that's a side effect of the floral essential oils that heal your skin that are in it.
Right. So next time, before I cook my fish, I can rub some ghee on my lips, and I'll...
when I cook, if I get it on my hands, if I get ghee on my hands, I just rub it in.
Yeah.
Lotion bonus.
Yeah. There's a product that I used to be a hand drummer, and I use shea butter as a way to keep my hands from cracking and breaking. So how can you explain us how shea butter is different than ghee in this particular example?
All the different butters and oils have different nutrient and fat contents. They also have different textures. So shea butter is rather soft and it melts quickly. So it's great for balms and lotions and anything that you need to kind of instantly be pliable. For things that you want to be a little stiffer, like a lip balm, I use cocoa butter because it's hard to higher temperatures. So it's more of like a combination of what it's made out of and how it functions in the real world that makes the difference. So it's kind of whatever works for your lifestyle. If you live someplace really cold, shea butter's great because it melts at a lower temperature. If you live someplace really hot, cocoa butter's better because it stays solid and won't get all over your bathroom.
So there's practical reasons there then, really.
Very practical, with some magical reasons too, but those are the brass tacks reasons.
So whichever girls wear their lip balm is highly kissable then.
Yeah, I like to say the lip balm is make-out ready.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. You know, as French, that's all we think about, right?
Yeah. You're really doing the
So
other person a favor too, because you're not poisoning them with petroleum.
that's true. That's true. And I never understood. I mean, I've never stepped back from a kiss, but I've always wondered, what I was getting into myself when I was kissing girl with this bright red colored
Oh.
lipstick. It's like I was not going ooh, but it was there was a little bit of hesitation there, being that
Yeah,
I'm
back in your head.
being that I'm careful about what I put in my body. So I had assumed that when you put lipstick with toxic ingredients, some of it gets into your body as well, right?
Yeah, I think the statistic is women eat like 10 pounds of lipstick in their lifetime just from having it on their lips.
Cool.
Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Lipstick has all kinds of heavy metals in it and all kinds of chemicals. And I used to be an oil painter, and when I look at the back of a mainstream lipstick, I recognize those pigments from my oil paints. And a lot of my oil paints are, they recommend you wear gloves and masks when you use them.
Really?
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not to mention that a lot of these ingredients or additives are also genetically engineered.
Yes, that's a big problem with xylitol. Is you
Yeah.
can get it from birch bark, but a lot of it is made from GMO corn.
All right.
And
Right.
to me, even if you make it from birch bark, taking the bark of a tree and then having a sweet white powder, there's a lot of processing in between those two steps. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to not eat processed foods, so why would I eat a quote unquote natural sweetener that is obviously highly processed?
I guess it sort of makes sense to put a sweetener in lipstick so it makes it more sweet for
It's
the kissing.
pleasant.
But yeah. So moving along, how did you come up with the name? I mean, obviously you like to joke around the dirty part.
I do. I have a little bit of a devious sense of humor, so that's just a bonus. Actually, my boyfriend Joe came up with the name. He's my willful guinea pig. He always tries all my products when I first come up with them. Luckily, he's also a very, very smart businessman, and he was brushing his teeth with the dirt. And he was like, "Oh man, this tastes really good. My teeth feel great." He spits it out, and he's like, "It's brown." I'm like, "Yeah, it's brown. It's made from natural stuff. I didn't bleach it. That's what color it is." He's like, "That's going to be a problem, though. People are used to white toothpaste." It's like, "Yeah, but the whiteness comes from processing. And so people, my demographic, they should know that anything that's like pure white does not exist in nature very often." It's like, well, we got to figure out a way to communicate that quickly that, this is part of the benefit is it's very natural. So, what if we just own it and we just call it the dirt?
Yeah.
Like, it's made of dirt. Let's call it the
Right.
dirt. And I was like, "Oh, Joe, you're a genius." So that's how the name was born. And then I spun off a whole bunch of funny puns about getting dirty and
Right.
all
Right.
that
Right.
fun stuff.
Yeah.
So
My
that
kind of
was
girl.
it.
Come to think of it, I didn't even think about the whole white versus brown. It never even crossed my mind from my, I guess my point of view, because the whole thing just makes sense to me. I mean, even the cleanest or the most natural toothpaste I can find still had some of these ingredients we mentioned earlier, some of which are GMO. And I was literally running out of toothpaste that would be healthy. Even some of the names that are most famous for being healthier, I think you and I know the one we're talking about, right?
Yes.
And I tried Neem's toothpaste, and I tried another one, and it was a step in the right direction. It was still not all right. So when I came upon your product, it was like, well, that may be what I'm looking for. And when I tried it and tasted it, I loved it. So the whole white versus brown never even crossed my mind.
We're all trying to improve ourselves, and I think the first step is diet, and then we'll start with our fitness. And it's kind of a long ways down the road that you start to think about your environment around you, what you're cleaning with, what you're cleaning yourself with, how your house is set up. So it takes a little while for you to kind of look at this white toothpaste you've had your entire life and go, wait, maybe this isn't what I should be using. Like you're
Right.
you're so used to it. It's like walking outside and hearing birds. It just is.
Right.
So,
Just keep in mind that I'm not your typical customer because I am French, so I see things from different point of view, and I haven't been brainwashed all these years to get to eat